Hey everybody, Tom Willard here. How you doing? In this video, I wanted to make this more timely. Now I've done my scanning over the weekend for trading on Monday as well as throughout the week next week, and I wanted to came up with a list of about 12 to 15 ideas for both day trading and swing trading. So I'm going to handpick a few to look at with you so that you could possibly use this information for trading next week if you choose to. And again, I want to really reiterate, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have an edge, okay, with which to trade, I strongly suggest you don't trade money. Paper trade, practice on paper. And what you can do is I'm going to leave this video up, obviously, beyond. This is right now I'm filming this on April 3rd, Friday, April 3rd, 2015. The markets are closed today for Good Friday. It's Easter weekend coming up, and it's about 4:30 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time. So you can go look at this, 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, a year from now, and go back and see how things performed. And I'll just leave the video up for use because there's going to be some good lessons in here for you to use. Okay, first one I want to talk about is Chesapeake. Chesapeake Energy here, CHK, you'll see here on the weekly chart. It had a pretty good run here, right, from about mid-May 2012 to around June of 2014. Over that 2-year um, period, it ran from a low of about $14 to about $31, doubled in price, more than that. Okay, but it's had a pretty rocky 8 months or so. We've gone from 31 rapidly down to 16, popped to 24, back down to 17, backed up to 21, and now down to 14. Now you notice here on the weekly chart, a couple things I want to point out is look how extended it is from the 20 period moving average, which is the blue line, okay, as well as, okay, the 40 and the 200. And you'll notice that when it gets this far away, it typically has some sort of bounce involved, and it's come down pretty rapidly. It also came down pretty seamlessly, leaving what I call a tradable area, right, where there's not a lot of resistance points to inhibit it from moving back up. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to move back up without any problems, okay, but it greases the tracks, if you will, for a quick, rapid move up. So this is actually one I'm interested in day trading next week, as well as possibly swing trading. Now, from a swing trading perspective, you'll notice here on the weekly, notice it came down right to the same area viciously here in 2012, held serve, and moved back up. Okay, so there's a support area here, although from quite some time ago. Now let's go to the monthly, and you'll see here on the monthly chart when it peaked out here in 2008 and it came down. Notice where it stopped here, right around $10 a share. So it came up, tested it again, made a higher low. Here it came up, and right now, okay, it is really pretty much matching this low here. So it's put up or you know what time for this stock, okay, with regards to the support area. The absolute low is 1338. Here it looks like it's 1332. So it basically is 6 cents from the higher than this low right here as of this time. Okay, let me go back to the weekly, and now let's go down to the daily. Okay, here's the daily chart. Okay, it came down, it gapped down, and it moved down here at a very, very nice steady pace. Here's the support level. Didn't really care. It paused. It bottoming tailed for a day, and then it held the next day, and then played in the same area, and then it went lower. Okay, and now it's bottomed out. Now it gapped up here, and volume was quick into this area, this void, and it came right down, filled the gap, but has now made a higher low. Notice volume dropped up here. Okay, dropped down here on this attempt to make a lower low, and it couldn't do it. This is, to me, key that this there's an advantage that this will most likely go higher before it goes lower. Okay, now obviously you get up Monday morning, this thing could be opening up at $4 a share. Who knows, right? That's part of the the danger of holding overnight. And if that happens, then I have to reassess. I may go long on that too if that happens. Okay, or it may open up at 16 or 17, or it may open up at 14.59. But for my game plan, okay, you've got a resistance point here on this daily chart at 14.88. So say the $15 number, okay, and here at about 13.71 is your higher low. So if you wanted to swing trade this thing, okay, my suggestion would be look at an entry over 15 with a stop under this pivot low, 13.70. Okay, so say 13.50 if you want to give it room. Okay, with an entry at about 15, and you're looking for a move of at least up to about $18 a share where there's minor resistance here. Okay, if not a bigger move. Okay, now, but I'm not as I don't know what's the word I'm looking for here. I'm not as excited about a swing trade as I am a day trade. If this thing gets up to the 14.88, 88, $15 number, I think this could be a really nice day trading opportunity. Here's a 60-minute chart. You see it gapped up, came down, dribbled lower, couldn't make a lower low, came back up. Volume picked up here, and look at this kind of base. It's actually shelving out here. You can actually see a little bit of a cup with a handle, even though the volume's a little bit higher here. If it goes above this, you may be able to take it for a 60-minute trade over the 14.88 mark and use your stop at a 14.45. So you're risking 50 cents a share ish. Okay, but that's a really good idea, and this is going to be tops on my list to watch. Okay, now it may sit here, and if it doesn't trigger, it doesn't trigger. You've got to know what your edge is and what your pattern is. Okay, I'm not saying I'm going to get in this thing for sure, but if it sets up like I like it, okay, and my major points of entry around 14.88 to $15, okay, with stops either 14.45 on the smaller time frames, 13.50-ish on the longer time frames. From a day trading perspective, I mean, this is a 60-minute chart. You could break it down to a 15 and look at this little jog here, okay, as a stop area, 14.56. Okay, and purchasing it over 14.70 if it breaks above, okay, anticipating that it's going to break 14.88, not even waiting for it, okay. But you got to see the flavor of the market, okay, the flavor of the market, the feel, the tempo of the market on Monday. It'll probably be pretty dead. This may not take, I might not take action. This may not set up to take action until Tuesday, Wednesday. It may not set up action for the next month, okay. But this is what I do in a scan. I look at ideas like this. This is, to me, a hot-looking little idea for next week. I suggest you watch it. Again, don't trade it. Just watch it and see what happens. Now, the other one I'm going to show you here today is Skyworks. Again, I got a list of a number of stocks, but I'm just going to show you these two because there's some good lessons in these, and they'll be timeless. So that even though next week's trading, they're both pertinent to be watching the next few weeks, I think, from a longer-term day trading perspective. But from a swing trading perspective. From a day trading perspective, you're looking for early next week to see what happens, see what transpires, see what the volume's like on Monday after the holiday. So I wanted to give you a short example. Now look at this. Look at the Skyworks on the weekly. Okay. Wow, what a run. This is very typical of what we call a climactic type move where it's running out of steam, boys and girls. Okay, and this market does correct like some people think it's going to. This one, although it's got relative strength, I think has a long way to fall. Okay, talk about falling, getting into the basement or falling out of the skyscraper. This is falling out of the skyscraper. Now, I do want to temper your enthusiasm because here it was extended as well. And you can see what happens, okay, and this is, I've seen a lot of people get killed being short happy and saying, oh, it's too extended, I got to get short, and I'm going to stay short no matter what. There's the proof, right? Big red bar, volume, it's going to go lower, and then they ante up and they short like crazy, and then they get their rear ends completely handed to them, and their career in trading is over because they cannot withstand the pain. But this is a little bit different this time. Here is a very, what I've seen through my experience, very typical of a short-term top. Now that doesn't mean the stock's going to go to $20 a share, okay? Although that's possible, okay, over the long term. But what this tells me is that this top, okay, this top area at about 103-ish, I think is a real top for this stock, at least for the next probably 5 to 10 bars. 5 to 10 bars being, in this particular case, weeks. So I don't think for the next 5 to 10 weeks this will get much higher than 103, okay, to 104. You've got to give it some cushion. You can't use, or I don't like to use 102.77 because that was the high. I said, oh, that's it. If it breaks that high, then I'm getting out. In fact, what I'm doing is sometimes I hope for it to break that high and let the novices get in, and then I short it at 104. Okay, depending on how it hits it, when it hits it, etc. So I am watching this as a possible short trade on the swing side. Okay, now target-wise, you look at a pocket of support here at about $80 a share. Another one here about 74. Okay, and then you got free fall ability down to 48 to $50 a share. So if I'm swing shorting this or buying put options or selling calls, okay, I'm looking to target probably around the 80 area would be my initial target. And you can see that on this particular week here. I mean, that bottoming tail, that's sick. I mean, 102.71 this day. 3 days later, it was kissing 88.25. Okay. Now it popped back up here on volume, and it's come back down here in low volume, okay, indicating on a daily chart as it comes back to the rising moving average, hey, this could be a buying opportunity. Okay, but what novices they don't do sometimes is they don't look at multiple time frames. And what this is telling me is like this will probably trigger long, right? The typical plain vanilla entry on a pullback is to buy it over the high of 97.64 with a stop under this bottoming tail. For me to get short, I almost wanted to do that first. I wanted to bring in people. Sure, get up to 101, break this pivot, 101.10, get up to the 102, 103 area, okay, break the high, 103, then I will be eyeballing this like an eagle to find a way to get short, okay, on this thing as a day trade or as an overnight trade. Again, you've got to have a plan, you've got to have an edge, you got to figure out what your edge is, what kind of pattern you want to trade, okay, and then stick to your stops, because as you can see, things that look extended can often get more and more extended. But this is pretty gone, and I would venture to say that this top is in, at least for the next 5 to 8 weeks, okay, if not longer. And of course, if the market continues to or starts to put in another gear to move higher, this obviously could carry this higher. But I wouldn't be a buyer of this in any case. If the market starts ripping to the higher, I'm not buying this. It's too extended. I repeat, too extended to buy here. I don't care if it goes to 1,000. The odds are against me if I buy this long that it's going to put in a good reward for my risk, which would my risk factor parameter would be around this bottoming tail low here that was put in on a daily chart. Okay, so a number of ideas here around the stock and lessons, okay, around both examples I gave you for next week. Now, from a day trading perspective, well, the 60-minute chart is here. Okay, you see it came down viciously. It bottomed out, completely drained and rebounded. Okay, and it's come back. Okay, it drained and it's based here pretty much the middle range of this day on April 1st. Okay, so it's put in a pocket where there's some resistance if we get below, or support if we get above on the smaller time frames. So from a day trading perspective, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'd be looking for a break below here in a weak market and the sector to be weak to look to get short, because this thing could really run easily to 90, very easy, in a day, okay, in a matter of hours with this stock. Okay, so this is one that I'm very interested in watching as well. Okay, so typically scan every weekend, come up with ideas from a swing trading perspective and a day trading perspective, and I put them on a list just like I did, and these are just two of the many that I have on the list from my scans this weekend of ideas to watch. And I know a lot of people are interested, well, how do you know, people ask me, Tom, how do you know what you're going to trade? How did you find that stock? You made all this money, you did a great job on the stock. How did you find it? Well, this is kind of how I did it, and I also have another video, as you know, showing scanning as well, but I want to actually show you some results here of two of my ideas from this weekend's for the scan for next week that I did today, so that you guys can kind of just track them and see how they do. And again, I encourage you to not trade these. Okay, watch them. Both of these, this one especially, is a lot more whippy as a day trading stock. Okay, it can be a lot more whippy and dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Okay, I suggest you paper trade them or just watch them. Okay, watch them and look and see how they perform. But Skyworks is a short, Chesapeake as a long. Hope you enjoyed this video. Follow me on Twitter if you want to get some ideas from trading. I post ideas from time to time as I'm trading. And I've been taking some time off this last month with some other projects underway, but earnings season's starting up here pretty soon, okay, in April. And I'll be much more active in my Twitter account. So follow me on there. I'll be posting the ideas, following up on ideas, and you can find that, access that from this YouTube channel. All right, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon in the next video.